welcome to my podcast. I'm Tama, and this is my first episode, and I'm gonna talk about my 10 favorite movies, just very briefly. My first favorite movie, this isn't actually in any particular order, I just am ordering the way I want to, is Inception. Why? Honestly, I just think it's a very cool concept. Like the way that, like, your dreams are, like, you can bend reality and you can go deeper and implant, like, a thought in somebody else's mind. It just seems super cool, and I love sci-fi. And yeah, I mean, honestly, with that movie, it's not much deep. I love it so much. I've only actually watched it once, but I love it a lot. It's a really, really, really cool movie. Number 2 is 10 Things I Hate About You. I love that movie so much. It's like I love the rom-com vibe, and I love the, like, sort of enemies to lover vibe that's going on there. It deals with sort of, like, buried emotions, I guess. I don't know. I just really like the vibe that it has going on. It's really fun, and, you know, it's a teen movie, and I'm a teenager, and it just kind of encompasses stuff that I kind of want to have, you know? Like, the high school and teenage life that you really want to have, but it's totally not reality at all. But it's just a super fun movie, and I like the soundtrack, too. The songs are really good. Number 3 is The Outsiders. So the first time that I ever even heard of The Outsiders was in 8th grade when we read the book, and then we started reading the book a little bit, and so I went home and I watched the movie ahead of everybody else because I was just so excited. I had loved reading the book so far. It's been like a huge part of my life. I've read the book 6 times, and I've watched the movie, I think, 11 times since I was first introduced to it, and I love The Outsiders. It's like found family. I really like that concept of found family. I just love the way that they portray, like, these 3 brothers living on their own because their parents died in a car crash, and they're just, car crash, train crash, whatever. And they're just trying to get by, and then there's all this stuff happening around them that's messing it up, and they stick by each other, all of them. And it's just a nice sense of community. It's one of my comfort movies. I love it a lot. My 4th movie is The Princess Bride. I was gifted this DVD, like, on DVD, I was gifted this movie for my birthday, like, years ago. I think I was in elementary school, and I've watched it every year of my birthday since, and it's been like a tradition. And I loved, like, sort of I don't know when it was made, I think it was 80s, but I don't know. Sort of like the vibe, I think it's 80s, like fantasy-ish vibe, and like the medieval sort of vibe. I just love also their sort of, like, in between Wesley and Buttercup, sort of like they fight each other before they realize who each other, like, the chemistry. I like the chemistry between those 2 characters, and Inigo and his revenge on the Six-Fingered Man. I think he's a funny character too. And Fezzik and his rhyming. I love that. That's really funny. It's like a humorous movie, but it's also, like, there's action and romance, and it's got, like, everything. It's great. Number 5 on my list is White Chicks. This is a really, really, really funny movie. Yeah, it's about these 2 cops that go undercover as these 2, like, rich, sort of snobby twin sisters, and honestly, it's got Terry Crews in it, which is also very cool, very funny. It's funny seeing him not like Brooklyn Nine-Nine Terry at all, but this movie makes me laugh. I'll watch it whenever I'm sad. Love it so much. It's super funny. My 6th movie is Clueless. Now, this is also, like, one of my comfort movies, and I know it's sort of like a dumb teen movie. I don't think it's dumb. I know other people think it's dumb, but I love that Cher isn't, like, a mean girl, you know? she's popular, but she's really nice, and she tries to help people, even if sometimes in her own way, when she tries to help people, it doesn't work out great. And she learns lessons, and altogether, they all become better people because of the stuff they have that like happen in the movie. And I like it. It's very girlhood. It's like, I also want her closet so bad. Like, I want Cher's closet so bad, because then I could just like type up the outfit and then it'll like come to me and I don't have to think about it. And it would be so great, and I would love that so much. Okay, number 7 is the Avengers Age of Ultron movie. Personally, one of the biggest reasons why I love this movie is because it introduces Pietro and Wanda, and I love Wanda so much. She's one of my favorite Marvel characters. I also just think Ultron's kind of funny. He's kind of a silly guy. And it introduces Vision, which is cool. That's kind of it. It's just kind of because Wanda, and I just like the vibe of it. I like the Sokovia stuff, and I can't remember, I haven't watched it in so long, if it deals with some Bucky stuff too. I don't know, but I love Bucky too. He's one of my favorites. Most of the Marvel movies I like. Most of the older ones. Some of the newer ones. The Agatha All Along series I've been watching. I binged all of the 5 episodes so far last night, and I stayed up until 12, and now I'm super tired. But it was actually really good for the newer Marvel stuff. But yeah, it's a cool movie. I like the movie. And also, in this movie, it kind of showcases more of like the domestic side of the Avengers, if you understand what I mean, like, because they're like at a party and stuff and they're just hanging out, which I really liked. I really liked that, because it kind of shows you sort of like how they interact with each other when they're not like on a case fighting bad guys and stuff, part of it, and that was really cool for me. Number 8 is Inkheart. This one I was also introduced to through school. I read it as I read part of it as a book. We were doing like this book study thing. No, that's not what it was. I watched the movie at school. So we watched the movie. We watched it in 2 parts, but I wasn't there for the first part, so I had to watch it at home. I don't know. But we watched the movie, and then I told my teacher how much I loved it, and she's like, yeah, it's actually a book series. It's a trilogy. So I was like, oh my goodness. And I found the books, well, my mom did, on Facebook Marketplace, and she just literally gave them to us for free, because she's like, I just want someone to read them. So I read the first book, which is Inkheart, which is the one that's sort of the movie, and I love the characters in it. And especially Dustfinger, who is Paul Bettany in the movie, and I didn't even know that until I looked at the cast list, because I didn't recognize him, because I know him as Vision, and that's very different, like long blonde hair and a beard, sort of, well, scruffy, and a weasel, versus like Robot, and red, pink skin. So that was really funny for me to find out, but I like this because it deals with like sort of like this concept of people being able to read stuff out of books, which is like being sort of a dream, you know, of mine, to like make things come true out of movies or books, and it's such a cool concept. And in Inkheart, like Maggie, which is the daughter, she loves books. She's sort of a fangirl, and she gets to live out this whole fantasy. Sure, not all of it's good, and there's like some evil guys who's not so good, but it's like my whole fantasy come true, kind of. It's just so like cool to me. Okay, number 9 is Dirty Dancing. Now, I am a dancer. I have been doing dance for 14 years, doing competitive for 4. So that's part of why I like it. It's kind of the only dance movie I've ever watched, or like show. I haven't watched any dance shows either. But I love Baby. She is cool. I feel like I sort of like, what's the word? I don't know the word. Like, connect with her sometimes. Because she was very like timid at the beginning, and very like not sort of standing up for herself, kind of, if you know what I mean. And then through the movie, through like learning how to dance in place of I forget her name, but she's super cool, in place of her, and perform at the other hotel, she sort of becomes more like empowered in herself, if that makes sense. And I just love that. I love that sort of empowering yourself through something that she's become passionate about, kind of, but like through what I'm passionate about, which is like my dance. And it's just, I love it too. It's also a comfort movie. It's an older movie, and I like the style like that a lot of older movies are done in. And it's also kind of a rom-com, and I like the romance in it, and I love the dancing. I've always thought the dancing in that movie was so cool. It's not what I do at all, because I do stage, and I did hip-hop, and jazz, and that sort of thing. Not a lot of partner dancing at all, but I think it's very cool. I like the lifts that they do, like, you know the lift. But, yeah. Number 10, and my final movie, is Mean Girls. I know this is kind of basic, but I love Mean Girls. It's really funny to me. Like, sort of, it's like a comedy, kind of, right? It is a comedy, yeah. And just sort of the way that high school is portrayed in it is not at all what high school is in real life. I learned that because when I was younger and I watched that movie, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. People are gonna, like, be so cool and hot and pretty, and maybe I'll be in like the popular clique. That's not at all what high school's like, but it's still fun to think about, and it's funny to see how people portrayed it as a current high schooler and someone who is in grade 12. High school's not like that. Sure, there's definitely cliques, that I can say for sure, but that's more, well, I'm also Canadian, so it's different for me, I guess. American high school versus Canadian high school. But it's not at all like Mean Girls. Which is a shame, because I really wanted some popular girls to give me a makeover. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But I think it's really funny. Except for the barfing scene. No, I hate that scene. I have to literally leave the room because I hate it so much. But yeah, I like that they learn to all get along in the end. They learn that, you know, being mean to people doesn't really get you anywhere in life. And being nice actually does. And I think that's cool. I also really like this style in the movie. Like, the clothes that they wear. Very cool. They just don't make movies the same way. I don't know. That's it. That was all my movies that I had. My top 10 movie list at the moment. That was kind of it. Also, completely unrelated note. Look at my Lego car. Isn't it cool? Anyways, that's it. This was my first podcast episode. It was an experience. So I hope you liked it. Yeah, and I'll be putting this on Spotify and YouTube. So if you want to watch the video version, if you're just listening to the audio version, you can. That's all. That's all for today. Yep. Toodles!